Take you guys up until 2 here on the program. It's a Vice Shirt Friday. We'll tickle Leroy's fancy coming up later on this hour. Got those Luke Bryan tickets to give away in the 1 o'clock hour today, so stay tuned for that. And let's get to our headlines, brought to you by Doral Hyundai. You always pay less with your Pricito at Doral Hyundai. Visit them at Doral Hyundai or DoralHyundai.com. As some news coming down from the wire of the from Adam Shefty. Sources, the NFL informed all 32 teams today in a memo that it has prevailed in its grievance versus the NFL Players Association and its, quote, team report cards, and arbiter determined that the NFLPA's conduct violated the CBA and ordered it to stop making public any future report cards.
Sounds like what you do when owners are embarrassed by some of those grades.
Yeah, I would say so. I'd also say I feel bad for Stephen Ross because there goes his Super Bowl.
I didn't say that.
What? It's true.
It's true.
It's true, though. That's all he's like, oh, man, I don't have my report cards to hold up to everybody and say, that's why I'm a great owner. That's all he had, really, as far as like, hey, listen, I don't win, but have you seen my slide? Have you seen my catering? Pretty good. Yesterday, the Dolphins, they had a season ticket holder event yesterday, and of course, there's gonna be footage from it because
nobody was there.
Hold on, what players would they bring?
It wasn't players. So
no players were involved?
It was the coaches. It was the coach and the GM, the Forehead Twins, John Eric Sullivan, and although it looked like Sully got himself a buzz cut.
Beavis and
Looked like he got himself a buzz cut. Looked like he's got a new look that's going on there. Well, so yesterday they were, of course, asked about Tua. I don't know who the moderator was of this. Can't tell. But this was a video that was put out. Here's the sound from the video from 305 Sports Babe. She was in attendance for this, and this is the back and forth on Tua in the future and what John Eric Sullivan had to say on his, at least right now, quarterback on the roster.
What do you perceive going forward with Tua? And will you be looking at other quarterbacks in the draft?
Excuse me. Of course, we'll be looking at other quarterbacks in this draft.
Wow.
Every draft thereafter. But look, Tua was in my office the other day, if I'm being perfectly frank. We had a great conversation. Tua has been a very good player in this league. He's done a lot of really good things for the Miami Dolphins. You guys should be proud to have him and having had him. I don't know what the future holds right now, and I told Tua that. We're working through some things. What I can tell you is that we're going to infuse competition into that room, whether Tua's part of the room or whether he's not part of the room. We're going to infuse competition into that room like we will do at every other position. Tua knows where we are. We've been very honest and upfront. And Tua also knows that he will be the first to know when we make a decision. So if Tua's the first to know, you guys can't be the first to know. And I know that you respect and appreciate that, but we're getting close to a decision. And when we do, we'll let Tua know whether he's going to be part of this or not, and we'll move forward. But you can rest assured that we will add competition to that room one way or the other to make it the best that we can.
Yeah, I don't think I need to add anything.
No, thank you, Jeff.
That was a perfect answer, right? Don't, if you're a new regime coming into a situation, the worst thing you could do as soon as you get the job is make decisions that make fans feel good, but not necessarily doing your due diligence with how you say you're going to go about doing things. And the result could be the same, right? But they could be saying we got to get rid of Tua. But that's not what you say when you just got here. And that's the part of it I appreciate. Whether Tua's going to be here or not, it doesn't matter. What they have said to this point is what somebody new to an organization should say, so that they can go through the whole process of, okay, what are our solutions? Okay, what do we, is this going to be a problem? How is Tua going to handle it? How's the team going to handle it? Is this going to be, disruptive in the locker room? All the conversations that need to be made before you then come to the conclusion, okay, here's what we're going to do. And so that part of it, I think, is perfect. That part of it is right in line with what I thought I would hear from somebody new to the organization. And then we go from there. And so what we need to do is instead of looking at the players and what we think of the players, and there's a lot of players we think some things about now. So let's not be clear. And let's be clear about that. Me too. Let's give them the opportunity to go through that process and then come up with not only a plan for what they're going to do moving forward, but solutions. I think that's the most important part, is that what you want to hear from Hafley and what you want to hear from Sully is this. You want to hear the plan. How are you thinking about, getting through this? What do you feel are some of your options, right? And I think that's where they are now, which is good. I think it's, even if you're going to get rid of Tua, I think how they're going about it now is pretty good.
If you wanted to go about it a rat bastard way, because you heard just the smattering of applause that he got when they talked about drafting somebody, yeah, like if he would have just been like, if he would have just gone up there and would have just gone, rats off a ship, the place would have gone. Well, that's not classy. It's not professional. You shouldn't do that.
Right, but here, isn't that the one thing you want to see from those two guys right away, is professionalism of you want to see that. You don't want a coach and a GM to make emotional moves at this point, because that, if you see them doing that, or seeing them do something, make a move that feels good, or makes people happy, how's that going to play out in 2 years? So just calm down. I think that they do have a plan, but we've seen, and I can tell you firsthand, right, that the Cleveland Browns made a decision before they had a solution and ended up paying $230 million because they didn't have a quarterback. And so
I think they thought that was going to be their solution.
No, they really didn't. But what happened is once they realized that we don't have a quarterback, then like Deshaun was getting ready to leave, and they just threw that big number at him.
Well, yeah, because nobody wants to live in Cleveland. Like, that's what you have to pay him. Like, it wasn't. I think that was the thing that went on there, is that it was like, how do we get him?
And they didn't have a quarterback. And they didn't have a quarterback because they told Baker to kick rocks before they had a solution.
Yeah, but that writing's on the wall once you bring him in anyway. Like once you're.
Well, no, they got rid of Baker first, so they had no quarterback, and so they kind of backed themselves into a corner with no real solution.
Man, I can't believe they gave all that money. This was speaking on John Eric Sullivan. This was Jeremy Fowler on NFL Live yesterday, and he said that he's hearing that the word on Sully is that he loves picks and not only could move Tua but others as well.
Dolphins are weighing whether to keep Tua or to move on via a trade or release. He's owed $54 million in guarantees, so they could convert that into a signing bonus, get the cap hit down. But the prevailing theme in league circles is that new GM John Eric Sullivan loves draft picks, comes from the Green Bay Packers tree, who's going to try to do whatever he can to get some more picks. And that includes trading Tua or maybe even some other pieces. So could be on the move. Plenty of teams need a bridge quarterback option. So we'll see what happens there. He's also had some durability concerns, so we'll see if that scares teams away.
See, the thing that interested me there, Leroy, was not the Tua thing, because I don't think you're going to get any picks for Tua.
Right.
But the other pieces, I was like, okay. So, like, is he going to – I mean, you think about, like, would he sell high on Devon Achane? Like, Achane's up for a new deal. You know, do they go super high? I mean, he's very clearly their best player. But
Right.
if you're building this thing up, are the
Right.
Dolphins going to try and get, like, a McCaffrey type, you know, second and a third for him, some type of deal? Like, would they go that direction? Because when I heard that from Fowler, I was like, oh, that sounds like he wants to, like, plow it on over and just kind of go with his guys.
I think what makes it interesting with Achane is this. When you look at the age of some of the players that you may want to have around, right? And you say, okay, we got young offensive lineman, we have a young running back, we're probably going to have a pretty young quarterback, we got a young wide receiver. You know, there's a you know, a lot of kind of players that are on the same, you know, timeline as far as their career, and that all sounds good. The thing about Achane is they might think of it this way: can we get more picks trading a guy like Achane because his contract is up, and all the other guys, we have 2 years, if not more, to start giving out contracts? Do we
Right.
want to just have, you know, some time to get everything in line before we start writing out new contracts? So
Yeah,
that
'cause
could be an issue too. That could be why somebody like Achane gets moved, even though he's your best player.
Right. And it's like, who else on this team could garner you something that's high that you would want that, you know,
Maybe Waddle, but
maybe Waddle, Brooks, like with Jordan, like I don't know what a middle linebacker or an inside linebacker kind of goes for.
it kind of depends on, and here's the deal, and here's what I would say about that. When you look at the Super Bowl and how that Super Bowl was played with basically front six, front seven, and you're looking at somebody that says, I got 3 of the 4, you know, I got 2 pretty good defensive linemen, I got a good safety. If I just had that dog at linebacker,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
so
he's a tough one to
it'll
part with.
complement something that guys already have, and that would be like the icing on the cake. Then maybe you could do that. I think, and here's what I've always believed about stripping it all the way down, is that there's 22 starters. You strip it all the way down. Now you're playing a game where every year you're evaluating and you don't have any players that you can kind of say, okay, we know what he's going to do.
Right. You
You can't go into the year with half of your team every year having questions or hopes that a guy could do something. So if you have 5 or 6 guys that you know what they're going to do, what they're going to bring to the table, how they're going to perform, it's easier to build around them.
Yeah, and
I
leadership
think that's,
too. And leadership too, just like having a guy like that who's going to influence the whole thing. He's he's 28. It's not like he's going to be washed. He's also going to probably want a new contract.
Sure.
But you know that he can kind of implement things, whereas like Devon Achane's the better player,
but not necessarily considered a leader or something like that.
Well, yeah, and not even like the Dolphins probably could make do next year. But it may not be good, but they could make do with, you know, Wright and Gordon for a season, then find a rookie running back again.
Here's the other thing.
Once they're ready.
Here's the other thing, and here's what you need to do. If you go back through the years of what has plagued the Green Bay Packers, right? They've had okay weapons outside. They've had pretty good weapons outside. They've had a quarterback who could sling it. But every year it gets to that point where they didn't have a run game. And it kind of bit them in the butt each, a few years when Aaron Rodgers was there, right? That, hey, no running game. We need something to sustain, drives and stuff like that. I don't necessarily know if they have that. We know they have that guy who can run the ball along with two other guys. So you can play a different styles of run game. I don't know if you want to reboot that portion of it when that's kind of where you came from. That's kind of the part of the game where if you had any consistency, you would have had more success. So there's that. Like you always have to think of, okay, where did these guys come from? What was the situation there? And think of that's how they're going to kind of build the team based on that. And so I would say that if they're looking at the run game, if they do believe the other two guys can do it, then maybe they can move Achane for some pieces. But if they believe, wait, Achane could be the guy that helps our quarterback, whoever we have playing quarterback, then you got to kind of think otherwise.
Look, 100%. Like the team's not going to be worse. Obviously, they have Achane. It's not like he's a waste to have here. It's just a question of like, I'm trying to look at the roster and be like, well, who can they actually get somebody? Who can they get something for? And they may look at it and be like, look at it, a second and a third for him is not better than what he's going to be. He was
Correct.
a third round pick.
Right.
He's amazing. He's probably one of the best weapons in the league. He's 24 years old. We're good, dude. We're going to keep him for another 4 years. Like they may look at it like that. And that's fine.
That's what I'm saying. Especially when they came from a place where they had struggles at that position at times. So
the guy just goes, Josh, he goes, they better not be ass.
I would say,
is that an edict?
Yeah, I would say that if I try to just forget what I saw all last year and think of what positions that I would improve on, right? I think you always have to add offensive linemen. I think you always have to add a defensive lineman. I think most importantly, you probably need and I'm assuming that the quarterback draft is no good. So if you do draft the quarterback, it's going to be in the 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds. Okay, so
everybody's saying this is not a. I mean,
right.
By the way, they just lost Chambliss because Chambliss got to go. He just got an injunction, so he's allowed to go back to Ole Miss.
Right.
So the QB class that was basically Mendoza, Ty Simpson, and them boys has just lost even more talent that it was already depleted of.
Correct. So
it's not the second now, but like they could get some. I'm sure they could. Maybe they find somebody that like later.
Right.
But I don't think this is going to be the go and get a QB early draft.
Right. And so when you think of the offensive line, say what you want about the offensive line, but the fact that they did have some kind of cohesiveness at the end of the year. But then you look at what KG did towards the end of the year. So there's promise there, but you have him for another couple of years. So I would definitely think about cornerback. I think, to be honest with you, it almost seems like they move somebody like Waddle and then go get a couple of wide receivers in the draft, right? It seems like those are the positions that you can find guys in the later rounds.
Well, especially if it was true I mean, it wasn't the same front office, but maybe it was thought that Waddle would have gone for a first next year, but they wanted one for this year. Like at least that was the rumors of the Bills. So could you go, back and read those talks now? Obviously,
but do you want to send him to the Bills?
It would suck. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I was about to say, like, it would suck sending him to Buffalo. But do you reopen those talks because they're not as attached to Waddle? He's not their guy.
No, no way. Absolutely not.
Can't do it in division.
You can't. You can't.
I thought you'd be a best deal type of guy.
No. No.
Wow.
No.
Vlad, would you have traded Sauce Gardner to the Patriots? Would you have cared?
What are they giving me back?
A first. Well, let's just say it's the same deal. Same deal you got from the Colts.
Oh, yeah. If I'm getting 2 first-round picks, yeah.
Yeah.
For a cornerback?
2
Absolutely.
first-rounders. No, we said just 1.
No, well, in this case, it's 1.
No. Well, this case, he said 1. I'm not doing it. But if you're saying 2, I'm doing it.
Right. Like, that's over the top.
So it has to be over. You have to be an overpay from Buffalo for you to do it.
Yeah, to get him in division.
I mean, that's the thing. You're talking about the Waddle when Buffalo was trying to go after Waddle, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm saying that they reportedly offered a 27 first-round pick. The Dolphins wanted a this year first-round pick.
And
Now,
I get that.
Not the same GM. It's this front office now. But like, would you go back and have those talks with Buffalo before the draft?
See, now that's tough because if you're looking at the 27 draft class, that is supposed to be one of
The big quarterback draft.
But not only that, there's so many offensive weapons in that draft. You could have. That's when the kid
From Ohio State.
A receiver is going to be eligible to come out, and 27 would be the year. 27. In hindsight, I would have taken that deal.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I would have taken that deal
Because you're thinking of next year,
right? Because you just want what's going to be immediate. So you're thinking of I want to get that draft. I want to get that pick now because that your team is bad from 25. So this pick in 26 is going to be a good pick. You don't know what your pick's going to be in 27.
Can I add a caveat? One small caveat to that is I don't necessarily know that the reason why Chris Greer wanted it for this year, because maybe he could kind of keep his job.
I don't even know if he was the guy though. I think it might have been Champ who was in those talks.
And did you want him making decisions like that?
Yeah, it's not even that. I'm just asking, would they go back to it?
No.
I'm that,
I don't know. I don't know if I would. Vlad.
Especially here's the thing. They have the whole drama going on with Coleman and that whole blame game that's going on. And he kind of looks bad over it being up there because he was like, oh yeah, that was on the coaches. And then he was like, well, you kind of look like you looked at them on Hard Knocks a lot, dude. I'm just saying.
Right.
But then also like, yeah, do I want to give Josh Allen Jalen Waddle? Like that's
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, can I just tell you, as you know how fans are down here. If you trade Waddle to the Bills, I don't care what you get. And you got to deal with Waddle twice a year. And he balls out. Fans down here would lose their mind.
Maybe. Maybe he continues to have durability and big catch issues and he's not this, he's just not the guy that he was his first 3 years.
Yeah, I don't like. Who was the wide receiver for Dallas years ago that ended up going to Tampa?
That's Bryant?
No. Went to Tampa with he was number 2.
Oh, Harper?
Alvin Harper.
Damn, he went back.
But think about this. Alvin Harper was in the same position as what you would say Achane was. He was the second guy, but he balled out, right? Then he went down to Tampa and became a number 1, and we never saw him again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to know, and I don't know if this to be an accurate assessment of the situation, but his production dropped when Tyreek left, or Tyreek was hurt.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, can you then trade him like a number 1 to a team? Will he be a number 1?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's their evaluation. Do they think if they can get, the return of.
So then a number 1 pick, if they go in the office and they have talks about the various players, the first thing they're going to ask, hey, can Waddle be a number 1? If the answer is no, if you don't think he can be a number 1 for you, and somebody is offering you a first-round pick to be a number 1 for them, you've already evaluated your own situation.
Right. And even if it was for next year, I don't think that's a terrible thing.
Because we're playing the long game.
Yeah, because if you're
Right.
you'll have capital. Like I think
But again, the people last year,
they were more immediate. I agree with you. I
correct.
think that's probably like, no, I want it now because that's like,
Right.
but this guy's gonna have the comfort of like, I'm gonna be here at least a couple of years.
Correct. So do you do that? And again, I'm big on this. If you're gonna have a new quarterback, you can't bring him into a situation with no weapons.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so
they don't really have anybody.
If you have a solution, if you have a Waddle solution, and this is why I say you work these things out. If you have a Waddle solution and you go, okay, here's what we can do to kind of fix this. We can get assets too. And they all sit in the room and go, make the deal. Simple as that.
We'll take a break. Back after this.